Didn't you just love the guidebook you got when you started your business and knew that you had to do social media, and it taught you everything you needed to know, especially how to plan out your content? I loved that guidebook. If you're scratching your head thinking, what the heck is she talking about? I'm here with you. There was no guidebook. I had to figure this out on my own. And every time I looked for content calendars and editorial calendars, they did nothing but confuse me. And so my mission is to help you not be confused with social media and make it easy. It doesn't need to be difficult and it doesn't need to be complicated. So in this episode, we are going to plan monthly content together. Are you ready to get started? I know I am. Grab a pen and a piece of paper and let's get planning. Episode 242 starts right now. Hey there, welcome to the Lora Shipman Show. We hang out here weekly to talk about things like social media, entrepreneurship, marketing, tools, strategies, tips, and it all starts right now. Hey there, before we get started with this show, I just want to share my passion with you. I love teaching people just like you how to master social media for business, breaking it down into easy to consume and easy to execute steps so that you can see immediate results. So whether you want to start a social media consultancy or grow your brand's presence on social media, I can help. I can help you get started and master all the things that you need to know. So I want you to go over to my website. It is filled with resources, tools, tips, and courses. Visit lorashipman.com. That's LORA shipman.com to get all the goods. Now, you ready for the show? I know I am. Let's get started. Yeah, so in a perfect world, it would have been amazing for us to get a little social media guidebook to show us how to do all the things and stay on top of it and stay consistent. But obviously that's not a reality, so I will act as your guidebook. So if you continue to tune into this podcast, you are going to learn lots and you will get a handle on social media. But today we are going to tackle how to plan your social media a month at a time. That's how I do it for myself and for all my clients. And I've got to tell you, it makes a world of difference when you can focus on this and get this down to a science. It won't seem like such a chore to come up with the content and get it all out there on a regular basis. Okay, so let's just dive right in. So grab a pen and a piece of paper and let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is just a mini little calculation of how many posts you want to post throughout the month. So for example, if you're going to post 3 times a week, times 4 weeks in a month, that's 12 posts that you need to come up with. I do it for 5 times a week. So I usually post 5 days a week times a 4-week month is going to be 20 posts. So go ahead, put me on pause, figure out what that's going to be for you and your business and your brand. Okay, so now that you've got your number, you know what you're going to be working towards every month. You know how many posts you need to come up with. So the second part of our monthly plan is coming up with the content. And the best thing I can advise you to do is determine what your pillar content is going to be for the month. Now, you can come up with pillar content in one of 2 ways. The first way, and the most common way, what people typically do is they pick 3 to 5 topics that they want to be known for, that they want to be that go-to authority and expert in. But for some people, that seems a little bit confining and doesn't give you as much freedom or creativity to create content. So what I like to do is break it down into 3 to 5 buckets that look like this. Before we break down those buckets, what I'd like you to do is put me on pause and go ahead and either start a spreadsheet or on a piece of paper, write down 5 columns, and then we'll fill in what those columns look like. Okay, now that you have your 5 columns set up, these are the different buckets that you can talk about with your audience. Now, they're going to be a little bit more broader than those go-to topics that you want to be known for. And by the way, you could also mix it up. You could create a plan where you're doing maybe 3 topics you want to be known for, and then maybe 2 topics from this new list I'm going to give you. The first column you want to build out is for infographics. What kind of infographics could you create that your audience would find deep value in? And some examples could be checklists. They could illustrate a timeline. They could showcase transformations. You could educate your audience. You could share industry statistics, or you can share a process. So however those infographics would look for your business, those are the ideas you want to brainstorm in the infographic column. So go ahead, put me on pause and come up with, 5 different infographics that you could easily create for your business and your brand. Okay, the next column we're going to build out is called All About Me. And you're going to come up with content ideas that introduces yourself to your audience so they get to know, like, and trust you a little bit more. Now, sometimes if you are more of an introvert or you really don't like talking about yourself, this can be kind of intimidating, but I have some ideas for you about how you can talk about yourself on social media. So I've got 5 ideas. I would like to challenge you to come up with 5 more so you have a really good, healthy list to play with. But here are my examples. The first one is share your journey or your story. How did you start your business? Why did you start your business? What impact are you hoping to make? The second one is go ahead and do an introductory post. I see these all the time, and they're so much fun to read, and they're so much fun to put together because basically it's like a little post that introduces you to your audience and maybe some things that they may not know about you. The next type of post you could share are some of your favorite things. Maybe it's your favorite type of coffee or your favorite wine or your favorite thing to do when you're trying to unplug. Let your audience get to know you. Another one that works really well are fun facts about you, fun, surprising facts that maybe no one could guess about you. And then my final tip or idea here is, what are your favorite tools that you use to get your job done? So go ahead, put me on pause, come up with 5 more about you posts that you can include. Our next column is going to be entitled How-Tos or Tutorials. What kind of tutorials can you share with your audience to make their life a little bit better? These can be tutorials on how to use your products or services to get the most use and the most value out of what you offer. Go ahead and think up at least 5 different tutorials that you can share. So go ahead, put me on pause and brainstorm those tutorials. Okay, so the next column we're going to build out is one about industry, news, and trends. I really love this column because it gives you the opportunity to position yourself as that go-to expert and authority in your niche. And the reason is this, because you've got your fingers on the pulse of what's happening in your industry. So go to your favorite blogs or publications and pull articles. You can share those outside articles with your social media following, or you can share your highlights and what your thoughts are about what is going on in your industry right now and how it affects your audience. So in this column, what I recommend putting here are links to those publications or those news sources so that it's easy for you to access them when you need them. So go ahead and brainstorm just those resources that you want to use. And if there are some things that are percolating on the horizon in your industry, jot those notes down too so you're prepared and ready to create posts for those topics. Okay, our final column is promotions and offers. And here what I want you to do is think strategically. What promotions and what offers are you going to showcase to your audience during the month? Go ahead and write them down. And actually, you might even want to write down what week you think they should appear. Okay, so now let's put all of our content pillars to work. We're going to actually make this all come together. So what I recommend you do is get a paper calendar. So if you don't work off of a paper planner, just go to Google and search for a blank calendar for the month you're going to plan out. So for example, at the time of this recording, we're planning for April. So I would go to Google and search for April 2021 calendar and print that out, a nice blank one, so you can plot your social media posts out day by day and week by week. And here's how it looks. So using your content pillars that we just built out and all the ideas that you just generated, you're going to take one from each column. So let's say April is a 4-week month, right? So I'm going to take infographics and I'm going to take 4 ideas from my infographic column and I'm going to plot them out throughout the month. So week 1, maybe I'll put an infographic on Monday. Week 2, maybe I'll do an infographic on a Wednesday. Week 3, I'm going to do my infographic on a Friday, something like that. So figure out where you want your infographics to show up throughout the month. And then you're going to do the same thing with the About You posts, and then the same thing with the how-tos and the tutorials, the news trends, and then your promotions and your offers. So some of you might want to work backwards on that. You might actually want to pick out when you're going to post about your offers and then have everything else come out after that. Just depending on your business and how you operate, strategically pick which ones you want to plot first, because it'll make it easier for you to fill in the month. So go ahead and put me on pause, take those ideas that you brainstormed and plot them out on your calendar to see what your month of posts is going to look like. Okay, now that that's done, give yourself a pat on the back. You just created a content/editorial calendar. Be very proud of yourself, because many people don't get to this step. They actually just throw spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks, right? You actually took the time to strategically plan what posts are going to go out when, so you can get the most activity from your audience. Okay, the next step is actually putting the work in, and that means writing content for each of these ideas that you plotted out on the calendar, and then creating the graphics that go along with them. Once you have all that content created, the last step is just scheduling out the posts so that you don't have to touch the posts again. They're out there. The only time you need to touch them after that is to respond to comments. So some of my favorite tools I use to schedule posts are things like Facebook Creator Studio, where I can schedule posts for Instagram and Facebook. SynchShare is another great one to use, and then Later is another one. So go ahead, pick your favorite scheduling tool, get that set up, and schedule out those posts that you created. Okay, step 5 in this whole process is to celebrate, because you are done. You created content for an entire month. Now, the next thing you need to do is go ahead, rinse and repeat. So you'll do that same process again for the next month. And I like to work ahead, so I tend to do this like mid-month. So right around April 15th, tax day, you may want to start thinking about creating the same process all over again for the month of May. So now that you have this wonderful plan in front of you, your job now is to execute it, and I'd love to hear how it goes for you. Go ahead and either tag me in some of your posts letting me know how it goes, send me a DM on Instagram, or go ahead and connect with me through the podcast. I would be so excited to hear how your social media planning goes now that you have an actual formula to follow when creating this. Okay, that does it for this episode, my friends. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, you know what to do. Stay safe, stay healthy, but most of all, stay social. Hey there, I just want to say thank you for spending time with me here today. I know your time is super valuable, which is why I am dedicated to providing lots of usable, actionable information in the shortest amount of time possible. Before you go, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. And if you have ideas or topics you would like me to cover in an upcoming show, let me know about it in the comment section provided.